Hey y'all, Steph here from Southern Sky Tea and Garden. It is about 6:30 out here in Middle Tennessee, Zone 7B, and it's 91 degrees right now. It's been very hot this week. We got a little bit of low weather, like in the low 70s, high 80s, and then it just creeped back up into the high 90s again. So I get out in the mornings and water, get Cash out for a walk. My golden doodle, if you're new to my channel, you'll see him in spots, and he's actually on the closing of my videos when I just post to subscribe and see what's happening. He's my doodle. So anyway, he's the mascot of Southern Sky Tea and Garden and the love of my life besides my husband. So anyway, enough of that. What I wanted to share with you tonight is the fact that I was watching a YouTube video from another YouTuber, Wendi Phan. It's WENDIPHAN, and she was sharing that she was making these little compost holders in her garden beds, and she does a lot of patio and vertical gardening, so she worked in this design, and I kind of took it on my own and used some materials I had and made these little compost bins that are little compost containers you can put in your beds or in your pots, but I'm going to use them in my raised beds. So I'm just going to turn the camera around and show you what I was doing, but I wanted to give credit where credit's due, and that it wasn't totally my idea, but something I was thinking about, and then I saw her video and I just thought, oh yes, I need to start doing this, because I'm always dumping the scraps in my little compost containers. And before I turn the camera around, I wanted to share that I used to always, when I first started gardening, I was buying, from TJ Maxx or wherever, these little, flip lid compost containers, and no matter what I did, the fruit flies, flies came in. So they weren't working for me. Plus they weren't big enough. So what I started doing was, I'm always having a smoothie in the morning and my protein shakes. So the container that the protein powder comes in, whenever I would use one up, I just take off the labels, and I started using them for my food scraps so I could add them to my compost bins. And it actually worked out great because the lids seal up. I don't get fruit flies anymore. And so what I did was drill out a couple of those, still have some that I can use inside the house. But now what I'll do is I drilled holes in them, plant them in the beds, which is Wendy's idea, and then fill them with food scraps. So again, I'll just turn around the camera and show you what I'm talking about. Okay, so my table is a mess here because I've been working very hard out here. But these are the containers I was talking about. These are the protein powder containers that I use, and we're just keeping my food scraps in them. They were just always in the house. Whenever I needed them, I'd pull a fresh one out. But what I did was take a drill and drill out the holes and keep them low enough so that they can be below the soil, so you don't get even other little critters just crawling in there and everything. So this one was actually a little high, but this one is a little bit better where the holes are lower. And you want to enable the earthworms to get in and out of there safely. So this one needs to be cleaned up a little bit. It's a little rough edge. Poor little earthworm's gonna cut himself on there, but gonna clean that one up a little bit more. I even took an old coffee container and just started using that and drilled holes in that. And so then what I did was, over here in this bed, I went ahead and dug out in here. Oops, he's not around here. I went ahead and dug out in the soil and just popped this in, and you can see that there's the holes in there. I've actually got some plantings that kind of died, and I forgot about them in the greenhouse, y'all. I know, I feel so bad. I abandoned them and they died. But anyway, so I just threw them in to the scrap jar here, and then I'll add some other food scraps and then be able to screw this top on and let them decompose in here. and let the earthworms have their heyday. And she would show that there'd be a container in there that would be almost empty and just kind of have dirt in it because the worms had just eaten everything in there. And they just like moved on. So I'm gonna put a couple containers in here, and here's like some food scraps I've got even in here. So I'm just gonna be dumping some of these in here, and no fear of food, but just some celery scraps we had. And just load those in there. And I'll be adding some other things to just give it a little bit of mix because I've got plenty of other food scraps. And then I'll end up sealing this up to keep any other critters from getting in there. And there you go, y'all. Just wanted to share this short but sweet video and let you know what I'm trying to do to, again, this process, I call it cold composting because I'm not letting anything roast out in the sun or anything, just taking the food scraps right from the kitchen, putting them in the jars, and let the earthworms just have a field day. So just wanted to share this idea. Maybe you all want to embrace it or try it and see how it goes. So there you go. All right, stay tuned for more videos, and I hope you all just keep growing.
Hi, Cash. How are you, baby? Uh-huh. Yes. Oh, you're so happy. Look at that tail wagger. You're just a tail wagger. You're so cute. You're Mama's best. You're Mama's best boy ever.